Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Mark this moment, save it, because today we are hours away of the release of the TLX 9000 back into FS22. All the options, all the configurations, everything that you want to know, let's jump into one and let's see it. Welcome to the store, guys, and welcome to the place that you're going to spend a lot of time, when this mod gets released, when the TLX 9000 gets to your mod folder, hopefully soon. I'm gonna do two things. First, I'm gonna go through the list of all the configurations, like main configurations, and then we're gonna go back to the top and we're gonna check every single one of the options that you are going to be able to select, and also my recommendations or the tips and bits about what to select and how to select it and why something might not be selected together. So let's go to it. Top of the list, we have the configurations and wheel brands, wheel setup, special editions, windows, tint, exhaust, front bumpers, mudguards, lighting, add-ons, visors, emergency light bar, headlights, capacity, vinyl, third axle, mudguard, engine setup, T-bars, air intakes, lower exhaust, interior colors, interior decoration, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 colors plus the license plate to actually select on this TLX 9000. If you're not impressed with that, well, I don't know what to do. The first option, the configuration, it's well known by you all, and it actually predefines some of the settings of the truck. So in this case, we have standard, extension 1, extension 2, extension 3, we have vintage, we have USA, we have blue energy, and back to standard. Moving into wheels, we have 3 options per brand. So I'm actually mixing in between the brands the selection of the axles and the functionality of the axles. So what does it mean? Well, there is a video right now, which is the functionality of the POWERDRIVE, but basically what it does, it just enables an insane amount of power. When we go down to the wheel setup, in every wheel brand, we're gonna have several options, of course. So in Continental, we're gonna have standard, standard 2, heavy duty, and back to standard. If we switch to Phoenix, we're gonna have chrome decals with spikes, heavy duty 2 with a little bit of a sidewall on the tire, so it has more loading capacity, and back to chrome decals. If we switch to the Trilux, we have the regular Trilux, we have the Trilux black, Trilux white, Trilux chrome, back to standard. Next one's going to be the vintage. Those were already back in 19, but this time they are limited. We don't have that many options in the wheels. So we have standard, we have long nuts, we have spikes, and back to standard. We switch down to Verdesign, and the ones that are going to change are the ones at the back. So I'm going to move back here, and we're going to have standard, white tires, and white tires number 2. Next one and last one is going to be the Nokians. So we have the Ground Kings duals, or we have also the Ground King with white tires. Next option in the store is going to be the special editions. We are 4 on the list and we have a lot to do. So special editions are going to predefine the metal, the looks of the metals inside of the truck. If we select no, the option of the metal is the one that I predefine, meaning when it's chrome, to me it's chrome, then it could be brass, it could be stainless steel. But I'll give you the option to override it as usual. So you can go to special edition and select silver bullet or silver B this time, and every single metal in the truck is going to become chrome. You can also choose black belt, which is going to have the same effect but a completely blacked out chrome, or sad belt, which is going to be the blacked out chrome but removing all the shininess of the chrome, and it's going to be like a matte looking. After sad belt, we're going to have also the copper perfection. Big shout out to Todd Mathis to bother us with the copper and producing one of the most beautiful and stunning trucks around with this color combination. We move down the list and we select the vintage configuration, which is actually related with the vintage configuration. So we have a special edition vintage that is going to be predefined within the configuration vintage, but I also allow you to choose it because this is the only way to select this tone of green, blue, depending on your eyes. Next one is going to be USA, that predefines also all the metals to chrome, etc., and it selects the red and the blue to the cabin. Closing the list, we have the blue energy, but just the colors of the blue energy. Windows tint speak for themselves. It's standard, medium, and dark, and be done with it. Now we move into the exhaust, and in the exhaust we're gonna move into here in the back, and we don't have like that many options. We have the options that I believe they are accurate for the truck. So we're gonna have standard, twin straight with flappers, twin straight angle, twin stacks, and twin stacks angle. We don't have in here the option of having a single exhaust at the back of the cabin. Next option in the list from bumpers, and we have standard with white markers. We have flat bumper with white markers, Aussie bumper, and Aussie bumper with bull bar, and it also includes 2 small spotlights. We move ourselves to the back of the truck, and we have the mudguards. So we have no mudguards, rubber mudguards, standard, design number 1, design number 2, design number 3, design number 4, design number 5, and design number 6. Back to no. My favorite is going to be this one, the split ones. Now we go into lighting, but in order to do the lighting, I'm going to move down a bit, and I'm going to activate the option of the T-bars. Let me move it here. So I'm going to activate the option for the T-bars. The T-bar or the T-bumper activates the T-bumper at the back, yes or no, and now it allows us to see the options on lighting, because we have 3 different options in here. We have design number 1, design number 2, and design number 3. Design number 3, it seems the same as design number 2, but if you pay attention to the turning signals right here at the corners of the T-bar, you're gonna see that there is a slight change on the orange. The design number 3 enables what we call sequentials. So it's going to do a slide. It's going to, the turning signal is going to slide from the center to the outside. Moving forward, we have the add-ons. In the add-ons, we have no add-ons. We have the rack. We have the rack with work lights that adds 2 small LED work lights at the top of the rack. And we have the classic logging rack with also custom new work lights at the sides. Let me see if we can zoom in a bit. So we have this option right there, and we have this option with these small LED bars right here on top. 1 per side. This time, not adjustable. They are enough as they are. Going back to the front of the truck, we have the visors. And the visors, we have the standard visor, we have the drop visor, and then we have the drop visor color coded. And the color code of this visor is going to be the same that we have on the roof. We keep ourselves on the roof, and we have the sides for the emergency light bar. So we have no emergency light bar, classic emergency light bar that it has the classic rotators, and we have also a more modern strobe lights emergency light bar that it has 5 strobes inside that are bright. Let me tell you, they're bright. We continue at the front of the truck with the headlights, and we have this time 2 designs. We have a classic design, and we have a more modern looking design for the headlights. So in this case, there is a daylight, and there is also turning signals inside of the headlights. Now moving to a topic that is gonna cause a lot of noise: capacity. It says in the description that you need to choose the right length in order to choose the right capacity. So what does it mean? Well, we have standard capacity, and then we have capacity 580, but it also adds the side steps. So if the length of the chassis that we selected is not the right one, that is going to be clipping through the tires. It can also be fixed by just removing the 3rd axle. But if you want the 3rd axle, and you want a heavy-duty 3rd axle, and you want also the side steps, my recommendation is to go to extension number 1. In this capacity option, you can also see that you have the frame exhausts. You can see them right there in the center of the frame, and they are also an option that you can deactivate. But the next option on the capacity 582, so in here it's gonna switch the frame exhaust, and they turn them into what it was called in the stream a wheat burner. So I do really like them a lot, so that's why they're there. But in case you don't like them, you can always use this option, and then you go down to lower exhausts, and then you go to no. And the lower exhaust is going to just disappear, and you're gonna have your capacity options without them. We continue with the capacity, and we are going to go to the capacity 800 that adds a smaller tank next to it, and we can go capacity 1000. We still have again the same problem. Our frame is not long enough. There is not enough space to fit these tanks, so my recommendation, you either go with capacity 800, but if you really need 1000 liters of fuel, my recommendation, you go to extension number 2, and then you have room enough. Now, it becomes a beast. This is huge, but if it's what you like, well, go for it. The next topic is a lovely topic, the vinyls. The first one was a shock when it was firstly introduced, which are the flames inspired on the Optimus Prime theme. So this is important that the design one, you can change the color of that. So for example, if you go to here to this decal, you can switch the color of the flames to whatever the color you like. And of course, then you need to match the cabin. So for example, you can go for a gray cabin, something like that, or a dark cabin. I mean, your play, your thing. But try to be nice with the colors, please. I don't want weird combinations. Next option in the vinyl is going to be design number 2, which adds this stripe. If you pay attention, this option of the vinyl adds this gold-plated stripe around it. Now, this is the decal 2 configuration color. So we go down here, which says decals number 2, and we select, for example, I don't know, this is the Jack Moose or Chrome Blackout. So it's going to change accordingly to the decals number 2 color. The next of the vinyls is going to be the design number 3, which also changes and adds more weight to the secondary color of the frame. And you can go, of course, you can go and change it, and you can even pair it. You can pair it with the color of the truck. So if we go pearl white, for example, you're going to have only one stripe, one single orange stripe. If that's what you like, if you want it red, you want it any color, gray, whatever the color you like, well, I'm sure it's gonna look fine. Next vinyl is inspired in the age of the truck. Now that was a controversial one because there were people saying that the flag was destroyed, burned, broken. No. The idea of having this flag in this truck is to represent aging. This truck was manufactured, the original one in real life, was manufactured back in 1982, the time when I was born. Now I'm 40 years old, like that truck would be. And that flag, I mean, it's been used, it's been through a lot, right? So my idea was to represent the flag being aged, suffering with the time, not being destroyed, being burned or whatever. So please don't get offended, it's not the intention. The intention is to showcase age. Even the whites, they are not white anymore. Even the whites are like beige. The sun and everything, like they are aged. So that's the intention of this vinyl. But if you want to use the American flag and you don't want to use this vinyl, I also give you the design number 5. The design number 5 is a bright, new, shiny, waving American flag that goes all along the body. It follows also the back of the body, and it looks absolutely stunning. Following the vinyls, we have the third axle mudguards, because as you can see here, it looks weird that we have these fenders, but we don't have the fender on the third axle. So I also give you the option to actually choose if you want just a small front plate, if you want a half fender, or if you want a full split fender on it. I'm gonna go with the split fender. Next up is gonna be the engine, and in the engine, it's not only engine but also gearbox. So we start with the TLX 9620 with an I shift of 17.4. We switch to a 6020 plus. It boosts the horsepower to 700 with the same gearbox. Now we jump into the 995 TLX 9995, and it has a T-Non I shift 17.4 road cruise. That gear shift is amazing and especially done for the road. We have also the amazing TLX 9000 1985 with an all-powerful Road Cruise X, which is powered. That's torque. That's pure torque. Last but not least, and with the crown of all the engines, we have the TLX 9000 20X CVT-X, an automatic iDrive X transmission delivering 2010 horsepower to all the wheels. This is insane. We have already seen the option of the T-bar, so you have the option T-bar yes or no. And now we move back to the cabin on the intake. So we have standard intakes or we have design 1 intakes. Now, like I said before, you have the option to hide or don't hide the lower exhaust, depending on also the gas tanks. In this case, it's not compatible with these gas tanks. Okay, that might be fixed in the future, but right now it's not compatible, so you don't see them. But you can also have the option. And getting almost to the end of the list, we have the interior colors. Interior colors are themes for the interior, where you can actually choose if you want the standard one, you want the design 1, design number 2, design number 3, design number 4, and big shout out to Driver53 to helping me setting up this pattern, and finally design number 5. Back to blue energy, where we all know where that comes from, and we are back to standard. the next item is a funny one because it says interior decoration. And interior decoration meaning, hey, David, the interior has already a lot of stuff. Yes, but we can have more, because why not? So if we choose to select the interior decoration to yes, the game is going to render props and stuff inside of the truck, bringing it to life, making it a little bit more live looking and full of use. The last elements, I'm going to try to group all the colors. So we have a color for the frame, a color for the decal too that we have already seen. This is the thin line around the decals. We have a color for the cabin, a main color for the decals. We can also paint the cabin roof, and in this case you may see there another shout out to Biggins to discover the carbon fiber color. And we can also paint the fenders. The fenders are not going to be affected by these special editions because you can paint them right here. Depending on the theme that you do, it kind of makes sense not to have them chrome and have them maybe orange, maybe black, maybe, I don't know, you choose. But in this case, for example, if we have the decals number 2 and we have them like new silver, I can go ahead and paint the fenders new silver, and that's gonna look beautiful. And then I can change the frame and I can paint the frame con orange. And there you go. Or this is that's the gloss on the frame, and the decals is using the gloss. So we match the two colors. Last but not least, we have the rim color, and in my case, I'm gonna just go gunmetal. We're gonna buy that one and we're gonna check that one in the game. I know we've been here forever. We're nearly there. We're nearly there, I promise. Well, this is a truck that we set up during the video spotlight review, first look, whatever you want to call it. And I'm going to pay attention. I'm going to step a little bit aside of it, and I want you to pay attention to some of the details that are built into the truck. So in terms of lighting, the lights are absolutely amazing. Lights are beautiful, and they are custom made, also following recommendations by my beloved souls. Let me connect the sliders. When we say sliders, that's the meaning of it. So we have at the back of the truck and also in the rack, our indicators are sliding. They are marking from center to the right and center to the left the turning indicator, the turning direction. If we go closer to the frame, we can see that every single detail in here is dynamic. There is nothing static. Shocks, airbags, everything absolutely moves. Everything translates. Everything reacts to the ground. Absolutely everything gives you the feeling that you are driving. Now, if we come closer to the indicators in here, you can see the TLX engraving right there, which is the same one that you see here on the logo. So you see there inside of the indicator, you see the engraving of the TLX. You pay attention to these small chicken lights. They have the bolts, they have absolutely everything that they should have. So we have also the TLX 9000 logo, all the frame decals, everything made, and not for me, that's made for you guys. So hopefully you're going to enjoy it. Let's jump in and let's fire it up. We don't have an entering animation yet. I forgot to add it. It's gonna be there in an update, so my apologies. And whenever we fire up the truck, pay attention to the TLX 9000 letters. There you go. That's a beautiful animation right there. Sound engines, they are custom and they are in continuous improvement. They are being improved. But this is, to me, one of the most beautiful trucks available, and one of the most beautiful trucks that we've made. Now, we are going to go into this side, and if we accelerate, this is a CVX transmission, so there is going to be no gear shifting. And we come into a stop. Beautiful. Headlights. Flashers. Work lights. Now let's turn everything off. Everything is off, yes. And let's jump into the interior itself. Let's open these doors. You can actually open the doors. So the animation is missing, my bad, but it's going to be there. So remember, we chose the option of having a full interior, animated interior with an interior with stuff inside. So you can see everything fully in detail. We have right there like a toolbox next to the driver's seat. And if we go to this side, we have right there some like water bottles, boots, like a bag of something right there. Now let's jump into this side. And now we are inside of the truck. You can see that the interior is completely unique. All the details, everything that goes around the truck is being completely made, like based on pictures of an auction. Actually, we have there the toys and everything. Now the light is on because the doors are open. If we close the doors, the light comes off. We have the CB radio set at 19, and details. For example, let's fire it up. We see all the lights, all the engine, all the check engine lights, everything works. When the engine is started, you see the time in the phone, and if we connect the lights, everything lights up. Everything that needs to light up lights up with this classic green. You know, it's not modern, it's an old truck, so this classic green. Now, if we connect like the headlights, there you go. You see that right there. Let me zoom in a bit. So you can see that the headlights actually turn on and off. If we activate the beacons, the light of the beacons, it's also being active. And if we activate the high beams, the light of the high beams is also enabled right there. Of course, turning signals, the other turning signal, gauges working. In this case, the like the gear shifter, since it's a CVTX, it doesn't work. Now, details of the interior. For example, look at the cable of the CB radio, or for example, look at the fan. Fan is actually moving. Look at the cable of the CB radio. CB radio is actually reacting to our direction. The driver is also reacting to the direction of the turning. And CB radio off. Everything made for you. Everything. The mud flaps at the front, behind the front tires, they also move. If you go for the long mud flaps at the back, they also move. I don't know what else do we have. We have tons of stuff. Well, with that, guys, we're gonna leave it here. Hopefully you like the TLX 9000. When it's released, please let me know. Let me know if there is something to improve, if there is something that is not working properly, something weird, or something that you just like, something that you say, hey David, this is amazing, and you want to recognize, you want to send a message, drop a comment on the comment section below, and I'll make sure to respond to you all. Having said that, guys, and as usual, enjoy the TLX 9000. So be nice, play nice, and see you around in the channel.